So, as you've seen, we are lucky enough to be blessed with the presence of the Blue Nightmare. So, we have a couple things that we're going to be doing. We have a little list that we're going over here. We're going to change you all, just given. There's an issue with like the AC and the HVA control knob. We got a radio that we're going to install. I don't know if there was something came off on the boost, that we have a boost leak, or if something's just not adjusted right with the boost controller. So we're going to be looking over all of our hoses, which I don't think there's any issues. Checking out our gauge, make sure that everything is in place, our hoses and our lines. Make sure we don't have anything there. Probably smoke testing that. If we don't see anything visually, like I said, changing the oil, which let's just check this real quick off the dipstick. It hasn't been started for a little while, but very clean. Looks good. Pretty much, it's a little over high, but once it's started and it's running, some of that'll come up and that level will drop. We do have some 4-bar sensors to install, but I think we're going to let that go until it goes somewhere where it's getting the reflash for the tune. Along with that, this thing needs cleaned up. Looks like we have something here, like something's damaged here or damaged here, where the knob just wants to fall off. That looks like it's probably mostly in the knob right here. All right, let's get rid of the ding ding ding. Here's our radio. The boost can be controlled through the gauge, so I don't know if it's just an issue with that, so we're going to double check that. There's an issue with here, let's turn these on. We have no parking lights. We got our headlights are working, we got high beams, just no parking lights. I don't know why that's lighting up like that. This thing's got those HIDs, demon eyes, that don't have the box to turn them on, which kind of sucks. So no parking lights. So we have no rear parking lights, no tag light, no side markers or anything up here. You know, we have our normal, we got a headlight out on this side. But we don't have any parking lights. So we got one here that we got to check out and see why that's not functioning. So we have a problem with the lights. Being it's in the rear, I've found, let's get this unlocked. I found in one, what the heck here? Well, the relay box is working. Listen. For lock and unlock, but we don't have any power locks either. So let's just get this opened up. Now, in here, the harness runs right across in the front here. And then up along that side, it runs up and feeds that side over there. I've found melted wires over in that area already. So I'm curious if this is going to end up needing a rear harness, because that's going to be pull all the interior out and drop the dash to be able to plug that harness in. So we're just going to check it and see what we can find. I normally don't like to patch stuff, but depending on the situation, it is acceptable if the repair is done correctly, but it all depends on what we find. The last one, it was, you know, an 05, somebody tried hooking gauges up wrong. They ended up actually, because this will be, I think it'll be blown here, I'm not sure, but I think it's 16. This shouldn't have a 25 in here either. 16, yep, 16's a 25. Stop headlamp, 15 is right next to it. This one here, you can look at it and see it's popped. Okay, so it's good nobody put a higher fuse in here. These would turn on sometimes for a second and then they would go off. But I've actually seen it where they had this melted out of the back of the fuse box. So it ended up getting a dash harness and a rear harness, just because there was that much damage. So we do have a couple things here that we have to look into. I'm not sure why this one here is pulled out. That's probably one goes here. Let's see what this does. Oh, still nothing there. That's our list. All right, let's take a look. I still do have a minor oil leak. Oh. And right there is our boost leak. This coupler here came off. Right there. So very easy to find. These things do fit pretty hard here. So I guess we'll see what we got to do. We'll get this put back on. Right now we're getting ready to, I'm going to wipe this off. So we're going to get ready to drain the oil, pull the oil filter, and all right, well, it's time to get this radio installed. Still left the back open. I did test everything out for the parking lights, but we put a fuse in. I timed it out, ran them for like 15 minutes, and everything seemed to work out pretty good there. But to get these off, let's pull these knobs. And these will pop out here in the middle. All right. There should have been 2 screws up here, but when this was sold, somebody swapped out the radio that was in here before they resold this car to the current owner. So I'm sure I'll find more stuff in here that's a mess. So we'll check this, see if this side has a screw. This will just pull off. I'll show you that. All right, no screws. Clips still look good on the back side. I want to check something here, see if this will turn it or not. Someone was saying something wanted to just... Yep, look. So I'm sure we have a cable that's messed up in here that wasn't like that. Yep, look at that. Something's wrong with that cable. So something's messing back in there. So we'll have to fix that too. But radio 1, 2. It actually has all 4 screws in. Let's get that pulled out. All right. While we're working on this, what we had found was this cable here was bent from somebody trying to force on this. Okay, it's wanting to move now. All right, so here's what the problem was. These little pieces here, that one has a piece of tape on it. So this is what is part of the firewall insulation. Let's take a look here. All right, so down in here, hopefully I got a good view because I can't fit my head in between there and the windshield. Now, hopefully you can see that gear moving back and forth. Well, that changes, opens and closes a vent door. Well, we had pieces in the way blocking that, all right? So, I have another cable. I save a lot of these. I save a lot of this stuff because I've seen them bent before. So we got to install this cable here. What I did to get access to that is I pulled the vent that comes up for your defrost out of the way, along with our upper dash cover and both pillar covers. So right now I need to get down in here. This is held by a clip here. All right. And if you look at these, most of the time there's a little indentation is whereabouts where they're at. So I do my best to get them lined up. Sometimes they're off a little bit, but we need an 8 for that back there. I'm going to get that undone. Then this will lay in there like that. We'll get it installed into our cover here. I'll probably do this side first, and then I'll feed this one back, and then I'll get it popped down over top of the blend door there, and we'll get it bolted in. So that was why we had an issue with our heat and our AC not wanting to work and the knob wanting to bounce back. All this stuff was down there in the way. Obviously I'm going to check for more of that and try to eliminate anything that I see that could possibly cause this to happen again. So if you have an issue where you trying to turn this, don't force it. It will bend that cable. So just for future reference. All right. Well, we got everything back together. You can just see how badly bent the end of that cable is. It's supposed to be straight. It's hard to believe it was actually wanting to push it through, or forcing it through the cable. All right, so this is back in. I got to throw some screws in. Our whole cover's back in, pillar cover. I do have a screw here to hold this in, so we'll get that tightened down. It'll hold that in place a little better. Now we're finally down to doing our radio. So let's get this back out again. Plugs we're not using. All right, we have to get this GPS antenna hooked up, which I think I'm going to come over and I'll put it maybe up here for the GPS and the location. And then there's for our USB, which I'll probably, maybe I'll bring it down so it sits down here. So you can sit your phone here underneath on the bottom. Antenna wires in. Here's for our backup camera. We're going to run those wires out and around and along on that side, and then we'll get everything reinstalled in the back. This is for our wireless mic. So I might run it out that way because we got so much going on this side. I'll run it out and I'll just stick it up here off the mirror. It'll be in the middle of the car, so if anybody is using the hands-free, it'll work out pretty good. There should be enough length here. So I'm going to work on getting some of this stuff run. I'm really curious to see what this unit looks like when it is finally powered up. I'll show you how I run stuff and what worked out best for that stuff when we get this thing ready to be powered on. All right, so there's 2 USB ports. One comes out of this pocket. I ran the second one underneath to be able to distinguish them. Everything is reassembled. We have our vacuum line or vacuum hose put in. Right up here is our GPS sensor cleaned off our window. We have our microphone right there. I'm in the middle of running. I've tucked it underneath the carpet all the way underneath this side. I got to replace this back seat, and we come out here to the back here. Okay, so this wire, I got to figure out the best place to mount our camera, and that'll get plugged in here. All right, so this will go to ground and it'll get a signal from our brake light, and this one gets connected to the signal from the brake light also, which tells the camera to turn on in the radio, and then you can see what's behind you when you put it in reverse. So other than having to tuck up some of the interior, there was 2 bolts missing here in the middle. They only had the outer ones in. I don't know what happened. We're missing this one seal over there on that side, so we're going to be replacing that also at the same time when we're in here. I'll take this, I'll put a couple zip ties. That way we know that none of this wiring here is going to get damaged underneath of this seat, because it'll be following the stock factory line. I'm going to hook up the battery, and we're going to see what this radio looks like right now. Just some of the those were two of the music. It has 2 songs on it here. If you go back, you can see its songs. There's the directory, tells you by singer. It searches different stuff. So I mean, I guess you can search, but you can come back here. Let's go into settings. So I don't know, device port. I guess you can change this stuff maybe. It tells you what they're all for. System info. I guess you can upgrade that stuff. Factory settings. This has a default password of 888, I believe. The car settings. No car information. Android settings. So let's go back to the menu. What do we got? Apps, music, Google, auxiliary. It's right into your radio. Europe. What Europe is. Europe's got to be what they call us. Clean up. Car amplifier. Let's go see if I could it's weird, both of them buttons do the same thing. I guess you can reset that stuff. Let's see, does it? Oh look, it even lights up. We got red out of it. We got to change that. Let's see, settings. I don't know what that does. Menu. Apps. Well, I'm sure I'll have to go through this and check out some of this stuff, but right now I'm going to work on getting the rest of. Let me change the theme. Check that out. UVL2, UVL3. I'm trying to see what's the difference here. That shows. Oh, there's your home screen. And it'll show your date, your time. There's the music playing. Different things across the bottom. Settings. Picture of the car. For your navigation. Your speed, which I'm sure if you hook to your phone would show you everything for that. But like I said, I'm going to get this backup camera hooked up. Alright. Here we go. We have a backup camera. It's kind of hard to tell. It's actually pretty bright on the camera screen, but we are in reverse. We have our reverse lights lit up. Finished running the rest of the cable back here. I had to add some extra length. There was a little issues with getting our camera over here mounted up. We have rear diffuser in the way, so I dropped down through there and I ran a steel piece up. And these lines here actually would have reached over to here, and I could have reached up without having this extra length. Here, I still need to, see there's where I tied into my reverse lights. I'm going to coat this here with some tape. I did coat everything else pretty good. I'm going to wrap this up really nice and tuck it in with this harness and make everything decent there, and then we'll get this all back tucked together. But and then we'll drop this thing down on the ground and readjust the camera just a little bit. But let's pop it out of reverse. All right, into reverse. Not too bad, not too bad, guys. All right, I'm gonna finish up that install, get the rest of that stuff tucked back together in there. It's just, it kind of worked out, I guess, the way that I ran everything. I'm not doing a full setup on this head unit, so that's going to be something for the owner to do, with setting it up with their phone, and they'll just have to figure out the way the rest of this stuff works. It seems like it's a pretty decent head unit so far. I might actually acquire one of these and install it into my car. The fact that you can store some music onto it is pretty cool. You can store pictures onto it, I guess, and, you know, what would you call it, a wallpaper background. You could even put a picture of the car on there if you wanted to. So that is actually freaking cool. So I'm gonna finish this install. We'll do a once over, and then this thing will be finished up. We backed up, camera worked, the radio's working. Fairly nice unit with plenty of options, more than I've shown. There's a lot more adjustments that are capable, but we're just going to end this install on the radio right now. And hey, I think I might see one of these in my near future. So if you want to check them out, I'll throw the link in. I found them on Amazon and I found them on eBay. They're like around 150 to 170 bucks, depending on which one you buy or who you buy it from. All right, we're out.